From this lying down position, let's drive our elbows into the floor, hug our shoulder blades together, and then let our back soften. Let our head relax. Maybe begin to shake our head side to side, just kind of finding some movement. And then letting our head relax back to center. Let's roll out our wrists, taking our time with our movement. Reverse the direction. And then relax our hands back down to the floor. Let's roll out our ankles. And reverse the direction. And relax. Let's take our hands to the base of our ribs. Let our elbows come out wide so that our shoulders can relax down, and just let our fingers kind of wrap around the base of our ribs. And see if you can allow your breath to move into your hands. And letting our hands relax back down onto the floor. Let's bend our knees one at a time. And then we're going to rock our knees side to side, starting off with some small movement. And then bringing our knees to center. Let's draw our knees into our chest and give them a hug. Then begin to rock side to side, letting head and shoulders move with the rest of our body. Coming back to center, let's slide our hands around to the back of our thighs, rock forward and back until we come up to a seated position. From our seated position, let's take one hand, reach it up to the ceiling, take your other hand to the floor, and then come back up, switch sides, and switch. Taking your time with your movement, really leaning away from your extended arm, letting your hand reach up, but keeping your shoulder blade on your back. Turning our gaze up towards our top hand. And then coming back to center. Let's come to all fours. From our all fours position with joints stacked, fingers spread wide, let's inhale, open up our heart. And exhaling, rounding our back. Inhale, open our heart. And exhaling, rounding our back. Inhale into cow pose. Exhale into cat. Bringing our spines to neutral, let's curl our toes under, lift our knees, find a short downward facing dog. Take a moment to hold, feeling most of our weight move into our lower body. And then bending our knees, lowering our knees down to the mat. Inhale, open up to cow. Exhale, flat back, curl our toes under, lift our knees. And inhale, come forward, lowering our knees down, releasing our feet, open our heart. Exhaling, rounding our back. And sinking our hips back. Continuing to flow through our cow to downward facing dog. Bending movement through our toes, our feet, our legs, our hips. But more importantly, moving with breath, moving with stability, moving in a way that honors our whole body. Being aware of what that movement looks like, how it feels. And coming back to a neutral spine, all fours position. Let's rock our hips side to side. Just noticing where we hold on to any tension in our hips or in our shoulders. And then come back to center. Let's grab a hold of our blocks, place them at the front of our mat. Take a level 3 with our blocks, and then let's come up to standing. Finding a forward fold. Maybe let our hands rest on our blocks if we like. Let our head hang. Really get comfortable through our upper body. And begin to shake our heads, yes. Shake our heads, no. Bringing our heads back to center. Let's place our hands on top of level 3 blocks. Lift our chest up. Find a flat back if we can. And then step our right foot back about halfway. Heel comes down to the floor. Setting up for pyramid pose. Toes point forward, front leg is as straight as comfortable for us. And then from here, let's fold. Again, we can come down to what feels good for our body. We can round our back as much as we like. Just remember where the movement is coming from is our hips. So allowing our tailbone to lift up to the ceiling, keeping our tailbone pointing to the back center of our mat. Making sure we're not reaching it off to the side. And from this position, let's lift our chest. Take our left hand to the block, take our block from our right side, place it in the center of our chest, and then place our right hand on top of the block. Take our left hand, place it on our hip. We're going to stay in this pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen through our spine. Exhale, twist to the left. On our next exhale, bring our left shoulder back down, holding. Inhale, lengthen through our spine. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, lengthen through our spine a little bit more. And then exhale, unwind. Softening, letting our hips relax. And inhale, lengthen our spine again. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, lengthen our spine a little bit more. And then exhale, unwind our twist. Take our left hand down to our block. Right block walks out again. So now they're hip width distance apart. Then step our right foot forward and our left foot back. Setting up for pyramid pose, other side. Let our hips tip forward, lengthening our spine, finding a flat back first. So you really recognize where you are in your body and how that feels for you. You're straightening your front leg to what's comfortable for you. Left leg is offering stability, but it's not locked out. We're not pushing it away. We're not driving it intentionally into the floor. It is stabilizing. Keep lengthening through our spine. Then lift our tailbone up and lower down from there. Coming down to what feels good for you. Allowing our breath to move to the lowest part of our ribs. Breathing into our ribs the same way we did at the beginning of our practice. And on our next inhale, lift our chest, put our hands back on top of our level 3 blocks. We're going to walk our left block in underneath our chest. Take our right hand to our hip. Inhale, lengthen our spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen a little bit more. And exhale, unwind. Inhale, lengthen our spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen a little bit more. Exhale, unwind. One more time. Inhale, lengthen our spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen a little bit more. Exhale, unwind. Both hands come to our blocks. Walk our left block out. Step our left foot forward and fold. And release the blocks if you like. Noticing how our forward fold feels here in this position. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, release them down to the mat. Rock our hips side to side. Come back to center. Let's walk our hands back towards our knees, grabbing a seat on our heels. On our next inhale, open up our heart. Exhaling, rounding our upper back. Inhale, open up our heart. Exhaling, rounding. One more time. Inhale, cow through our upper back. And exhale, cat through our upper back. Coming back to center, walk our hands forward, lower down to our elbows. Let our head hang. Maybe let our head rest on the mat if that's what feels comfortable for you. Soften through our upper body, but feel stable at the same time. Then on our next exhale, round our low back, tucking our tailbone, noticing the strength that it takes through our core to move through this position. Inhale, lift our tailbone up to the ceiling, noticing the work it takes in our low back. Exhaling, rounding our low back, noticing the work it takes on the front side. Inhale, lift our tailbone up, notice the work it takes on the back side. Now, whatever version is the easiest for you, I want you to do less through that version and more through the opposite one. Maybe you hold the opposite one longer rather than flowing with breath. Listening to where our imbalances are and trying to bring balance back into our bodies. Still move through our body, just not as intense through the area that we don't really need it, and more intense to the areas that we do. And come back to a neutral spine. Come up onto hands. Curl our toes under, lift our knees, walk forward, and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Releasing our hands to our side. We're going to take our right foot, step it forward, turn our heel out, toes in, but don't move our hips. Our hips are still staying facing the front of our mat. Put our foot down. So our leg is moving into internal rotation. Now we're going to do the same thing. Take weight to that front leg, lift your other leg, step forward, turning your toes in, heel out. And then we're going to continue to walk forward with our toes turned in and our heel out. And then walk back to the back of your mat and do the same thing again. Come all the way back. Toes in, heel out, put your foot down. Moving through strength and internal rotation. So many of us have really great external rotation, but internal rotation, not so great. Walk back to the back of your mat, do it again. Standing up tall when you do so. Try not to round your back, try not to look at your feet if you can. Instead, keep your chest lifted. You'll know if your alignment is off because you'll step on your toes. You'll rotate your hips. When you get to the front of your mat, pause, step back to the center of your mat, and then we're going to wiggle our toes. Just going to find some movement. Then lift all your toes up off the mat. Put your big toes down. Keep the little toes lifted. Lift your big toes, put your little toes down one by one. Keep your big toes lifted and lift your toes back up. Put your big toes down, keep the rest of your toes lifted. Lift your big toes, put your little toes down one by one. And then lift your little toes, put your big toes down and lift them back up. Put your little toes down one by one. Then put your big toes down. So all your toes are relaxed on the mat again. Let them wiggle around a little bit. And then lift just your little toes. Keep your big toes pressed down. Actively press your big toes down while you lift your little toes. And then relax your toes down. Lift just your big toes. Put your big toes down, lift your little toes, actively press your big toes down. And relax. Let's grab a seat in the center of our mat. You can find a prop to sit on, towel, blanket, blocks, whatever you prefer. And from our seated position, make sure we're on the front edge so that we can tip our hips forward off the front edge of our prop. Then hug our ribs in. so that we have the curve of our low back. So often when we get on these props, we'll start to kind of tip the ribs forward, roll the shoulders back, and it feels like great posture, but we're really kind of overarching our low back. So really think about those ribs hugged in and everything kind of a little more stacked. And from here, tuck our chin. Turn our chin to the right. Lift it up as high as we can as we keep our head tipped forward. Getting full rotation. And lifting our left ear up. Keep our ribs hugged in. And then sweep our chin up and over to the left. And then drawing our right ear down. Keeping our head turned to the left, just tipping it forward. And then sweeping our chin to center. Keeping our head tipped forward. And turning our chin to the left. Lifting it up as high as we can. And lifting our right ear up. And lifting our chin up and over to the right. And then actively pulling our left ear down, keeping our chin turned to the right. And then turning our chin back down towards our throat. And lifting our head back up. Let's begin to move into Shavasana, final relaxation. So setting it up any way you like. Using this opportunity to pause. drawing our awareness back to our bodies. And our breaths begin to deepen. And bend our knees one at a time. Roll over to our right side. Press ourselves up. And find our way back to a comfortable seat. As we rise up tall through our spine, check in with how we feel as a whole. Our breath, our body, our ability to down regulate our body, meaning calm it down, release tension, reduce stress, giving ourselves the ability to be present, to be aware. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart, sealing in all that we found in this practice, whether it's simply the ability to show up, whether it was in the movement or the breathing or the awareness. Take that and place it into our hearts as a gift. Namaste.